Aloha, folks, and welcome to another episode of Campaign Update. I am Feena Bonoan, and I'm running for US Senate, and today we've got a very special episode for you. Today, in the House, we have co-host Cara Schulz. Now, Mike is still going to be the co-host, but I asked him for today to take a day off. And so, without further ado, let's welcome Cara Schulz to the stage. Hello,
Hey.
Cara.
Welcome. It's a very warm welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, here we go. So today we have a very important topic to cover. We're going to cover abortion.
Yes.
Yes. And before we get too far into it, I want to start us off with a positive note. Cara, I know you know that one of the biggest reasons for this show is to play commercials.
Yes.
It really is. It's to play commercials.
As it should be. Yes.
Because the main media, they're not going to play our commercials, and we can't afford their commercials either, to be real with you. So we're going to play one of my oldies but goodies. And we'll get back in about 4 minutes. We've got Olivia Hayse today. We had Hannah Goodman. She was going to show up for the second half, but she's not going to be there. She had a last minute appointment, and she did tell me about it last night. So I do appreciate that nice little bit of a heads up. So we're going to, anyways, let's get to the commercial. I'm Feena Bonoan, and I approve this message.
I'm an American. I was born in Florida, raised in North Carolina, moved off with the military, traveled around the world, and landed here in Hawaii, the most beautiful place in the world, the most perfect place in the world. And this is where we choose to be. This is where we've decided to spend, the rest of our lives at. Being a child of a single mom that was like a waitress, and she made $2.13 an hour. She stole biscuits from Red Lobster for us. And the reason why is because she couldn't get food stamps. And she couldn't get food stamps because she smoked marijuana. And that was it. And these are the kind of problems I see with our system. I've not forgot where I came from. I'm in a new place. I'm in the most beautiful place. I'm in paradise. And you know what I see, my friend? I see the same problems. I see people that have created the system that want to help, want to do good. But the execution of it, they're missing the most vulnerable parts of our community. The kids. The kids. People who want to help, want to do good. The kids. People who want to help, want to do good. The kids. The kids. People who want to help, want to do good. We can't rewrite history, but we can try to make things better. We can write the future. We can write the future. I'm a Libertarian, so I'm not a Republican or Democrat. And this is where we choose to be. This is where we've decided to spend, the rest of our lives at. We do not condone the use of force to achieve political goals. Hawaii is paradise, and we're so blessed to live here. I'm an American. I've not forgot where I came from. I'm in a new place. I'm in the most beautiful place. I'm in paradise. And you know what I see, my friend? I see the same problems. I see people that have created the system that want to help, want to do good. But the execution of it, they're missing the most vulnerable parts of our community. The kids. people want to help, want to do good. Hawaii is paradise, and we're so blessed to live here. And this is where we choose to be. This is where we've decided to spend, the rest of our lives at. We can't rewrite history, but we can try to make things better. We can make things better. We can write the future.
I'm Feena Bonoan, and I approve this message. All right. I like that particular commercial to start us off for this episode because, in the video, I talk about how my mom was a single mother of 3 children, and she could not get food stamps to feed us because she smoked marijuana. And I don't have children. Cara, do you have children?
I do.
You do have children. How many children do you have?
I have one child. I knew my capacity limit and stuck with it.
So my mom had 3 children, but when I was about maybe 10 years old, around that same time that we weren't getting food stamps and, things were really hard for us,
mm-hmm.
my mom, she had an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
She had an in-office abortion. So I remember the day that it happened, I didn't know where my mother was. Like, a 10-year-old girl, and I don't even know if I was 10. I might have been even 9. And I didn't know where my mom was. She wasn't home from work when she was supposed to be, and I remember it was such a weird time that I knew that something important was happening for some reason. I knew that something important was happening. And she came home and, she told me about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a very emotional experience. She was crying. She was in pain. And it was not an easy choice. It was not an easy choice. But she already had 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
She already had 3 kids. She already was having a hard time with those 3 kids. And that would have been kid number 4, different daddy. And once he found out, he wanted nothing to do with her. And I actually liked the dude. I remember I drew a picture of us all as like cat type people, like little kids. And I remember that picture, and he was in it. And I never saw him after that. It broke their relationship that they had. And later on, my mom ended up getting, and I don't know if this had to do with the abortion that she had, but she ended up having ovarian cancer, and she died of ovarian cancer about 5 years after. And I've never had to have that choice of, do I think I'm pregnant or not, as far as like going to an in-office, because we have so many options now in the form of contraceptive, and also in the Plan B and other types of pills to avoid any kind of like in-office doctor type abortion. And so I do want to give some statistics here about abortion. I've got a lot of stuff. So usually Mike Scott, who's the host, he comes up, he puts up the issue of the days, like little facts and figures that we can look at. So I hope I do him well, and with my graphs. So a lot of this came from the Pew Research Center.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is on the majority of abortion rights supporters say how long a woman has been pregnant should matter and determining the legality of abortion. And I think that's something that a lot of people, that resonates with people. Obviously, it says a majority. There's stories all the time of people that are having premature pregnancies premature babies that they're living at and thriving at younger and younger, right? And so I can see the idea of putting a time limit on this. Here's some more. A majority of adults say abortion should be legal in some cases, illegal in others. Most cases being, a lot of people make exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother, right? As far as like if it's gonna kill the mother. There's another one we've got. 1 in 3 adults say both human life begins at conception, and that the decision to have an abortion belongs solely to the woman. And what are your thoughts, Cara, on that? Do you think it should belong solely to the woman, or?
So I have a different view of abortion than probably many people. I see abortion in toto as an excuse to not culturally address something that we haven't ever been addressing. And that is, who is responsible for a child? And if the community, and by that I mean define that however you want, like small or large, has decided that having children is beneficial and that children should be loved and protected, right? If that is the consensus opinion, which it does seem that people give lip service to that, we have not altered culturally to live those values. And because we haven't lived those values, both sides of this debate on abortion use abortion as an excuse to not address this wider cultural debate of who's responsible for children. And for the most part, all of the responsibility for children is put onto women. And then culturally, all of the negatives that can impact from taking care of children and rearing them also goes on to women. And so we have never as a culture addressed that. And so from the left, you get this argument of, well, you have abortion, so you can just take care of it that way, right? And then from the cultural right, you have the argument of, well, if you didn't want to be responsible, I guess you should have kept your legs shut. Or, so we have that tug of war when really, and this comes back nicely to the video that you played, your commercial, this should be about children and culturally how we value or don't value children. And this is not something that government can decree or not decree. This has to be something culturally. And so if the expectation is that women are going to have almost sole responsibility because they do have to gestate, they do have to give birth, they oftentimes do have to care for the child, in its infancy, then we also culturally have to support that and not be punitive towards women on this. But we're not willing to do that. And so we argue over abortion instead. So that's my view of the whole thing. I think abortion is an awful red herring that none of us can get off of.
I agree with you on that, because when I talk to people that are pro-life, I tell them I'm pro-life too. I do, because I am pro-life. I'm pro-life, liberty, in the pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
And if you're not willing to, I'm also, open markets, free and open markets, and I don't believe in slavery. So are you going to compensate the woman for her time? Are you going to provide her with free health care? If you're forcing her to go through this procedure, are you going to hold her job open? Are you going to, who's going to help the company? That's a body that needs to be filled. We just don't have the kind of system to support forcing women to carry to full term. And we're also at this really great point in our life. I told you already that premature babies, they are being born younger and younger and surviving and thriving.
Mm-hmm.
Where's their help? If you really want to save that child, you're really pro-life, save the child, take care of the child. And now it's a burden on the state, and nobody likes that, right? And then
we're not willing to step up to the plate. Like, as a culture, we give lip service that we love children, and yet our every action shows that they are an annoyance and an inconvenience. Everything in our culture is about maximizing work out of people. And so anything that takes away from that is really punitive. If you wonder why we have fast food drive-ins, it's so that you can, quickly get food, eat it in your car while hitting the bank in the drive-through, but get back to work, because how dare you take time off to actually do anything? Everything in our country is maximized for worker production, and kids take away from worker production. So we have to decide what we value. Yeah. We are living our values. We are. They're just not particularly good ones.
Well, I do have a little bit of a campaign update that I'm gonna go through a little bit. Let's see. Let me take this little scroll off I put on here. We do not believe in legislating morality. We don't believe in giving government more power, even if it's to ban something we find abhorrent. So just putting it out there, folks. That falls under the force and fraud. So Liberty on the Road, let's go to it. All right. So this week, after the last week's Tuesday episode, I did end up making it to the Space Coast Political Hobnob. Thank you, everyone that showed up and voted for me. I was really excited about this particular hobnob because there were some special interest groups there that I like. And I'm one of those people that I don't mind special interest groups if they're already my interest. Like these ladies, they're with the Cannabis Action Network. This is Jody James, and she is amazing. I've got like the biggest girl work boss crush on her because she is so well spoken and intelligent, and she knows how to network and get compromise. It's about working with others and getting to a place where everyone gets a little bit of a win. Met this guy. This is some more. There we go. There's the booth and some of these. It was also my 40th birthday, by the way. So this is happy birthday in my birthday suit. If there's a day to wear your birthday suit, it's on your birthday. We had some pretty good memes this weekend. I got to give a big shout. Oh, I got a few more. Sorry. They're kind of in a disorder. Joe Hanoush also was on the same night that we did the Space Coast Hobnob in a county over in Volusia County. They were having another hobnob, and there were, I believe, 3 candidates at that. So we had two, I say 2.5 because Chase Oliver's team was there, but it wasn't Chase Oliver. So I feel like it was like 2.5 candidates at one, 3 candidates at another, all on the same night in Florida. And that is the kind of ripples that we're trying to make out here. I love this picture. I love this picture because you can tag some nice, charcuterie boards and, just sneak it in there, however you can. Another meme. So big news this weekend from the Libertarian Party, the Libertarian National Party. Oh my gosh. We have less than 90 days away from the election, and boom, they decided to spot out some candidates. Thank you for that shout out. It was my birthday. I thought it was my birthday present for National giving me a shout out, but no, they went ahead and did some other folks too. We got Ted Brown, who was on our show, Mike Ross in North Carolina, he got the shout out, and Erica Kalinich. She got a shout out from National. So bravo Zulu National Party for starting to support our candidates and putting the information out there. I know it took a lot to find the screenshot of my picture and put down my website. And I'm just really excited that at least somebody did that. And, you know, it's a great picture. I got some mean comments on it on some of the platforms saying that we need better Photoshop people. Well, what folks don't understand or see is that particular picture. I actually have pink hair, like bright pink hair in that picture. And that suit that I'm wearing, it's actually blue. It's a blue suit. And if you watch the intro, you see that same picture over and over and over again with a new suit, new hair. Because for some reason in politics today, it matters more about what I'm wearing than it does about what I'm saying. And I tell you, Cara, I think I posted this on your Facebook post this week, that if everyone who came up to me and said how pretty I look and how well dressed I am actually voted for me, oh my gosh, this would be a slam dunk. Let me tell you. So we have some other memes, though, to get to. This one. If your beliefs aren't mine, I'm unfriending you on social media. No, don't stop. That's a good one. Of course, the Olympics. Big thing. Sha'Carri Richardson getting her gold medal this week. This is another one. Yeah, no taxes on tips. If folks didn't know, that was actually a libertarian thing first. And I had that meme, but it didn't cross over to the overlays, so I apologize for that.
And you used to have on the LP website, you used to be able to buy those tip cards, right? And it was those cards that said, this is not a tip, this is a gift, and therefore it's not taxable. And then it would have either the, lp.org information on it so that they could join, or you could get your state's affiliates information on that. And I wish that lp.org still did that. I know some states individually offer those still, because those are great for moments right like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the proof. I try to make sure that I try to make at least one copy of everything that I do and hold on to it. And then there's actually people across the country. There's one guy I know in California for sure, that he has a running historical file on all the people's propaganda who runs for office. And I just think that's amazing. And
I keep a file too. If I see really good lit or I see really bad lit,
yeah,
I keep it.
For sure. You got to. So in that spirit, I did share with the folks of Florida all my handouts that I've print out. So, I've said it before. I find all my stuff on the internet through free for use sites. And, as long as you mix them up and create new content with it, there's no copyright on them. I do encourage you to use whatever you want that's legal to use and get the message out. You can put your picture over my picture, put your logo on my stuff. I'm fine with that. Put your paid for by whoever box over my box. It's fine. It's fine. I don't hold secrets on the key to success. So, but this week we have Miss Olivia Hayse, and she's coming to us from Kansas. And I know we're a little late in bringing her on stage, and if she'll indulge us, we'll do our campaign update in the middle, and then we'll come back to you again, if that's all right. Because, like I said, Hannah couldn't make it, and so we've got a little extra time at the second half. So, yeah. I think it's time to bring her up. You think it's time? You ready? Thumbs up for ready? Okay. All right. Folks, please welcome Miss Olivia Hayse to the show. Hello, Olivia.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Wow, Olivia, you are young.
Thank you. I will take it.
Yes.
I don't feel it, but I will receive it. I have been getting that on the campaign trail, people being like, oh my gosh, well, if this doesn't work out, I mean, the runway you've given yourself by starting now. So yeah, I'm starting to really, really get it.
Okay. So, I mean, are you over 30?
I'm 35. I'm happy to share.
Oh, you're old enough to be president, honey.
Yeah, when I saw that, I think the early reports of Chase when he first was announcing said 35. I think now it might be adjusted or it might be corrected to be like a little bit older. But I was like, we are the same age and we're going to be on the same ballot this year. Like, I am all about it. I'm so excited.
Well, good. So I'm going to give you the spotlight. And if you want to give your 2-minute elevator speech, say who you are, what you're running for, and what are some of the key issues, and go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia Hayse, and I am running for Senate for Kansas in District 30. And there's just been a lot of libertarian momentum in my district, specifically my area of the state. We technically have a libertarian mayor. And so I'm at the point where my party and my friends have been asking me to run for a long time, and I never quite thought it was the right time. But here we are. I believe it's the right time. So where I live in Kansas, we have had a veto-proof supermajority since 1993. And a lot of people are hungry for just shaking things up and getting different representation in there. So I'm hoping to be able to do that. Real quick, my platform planks that I'm running on are small government, local control, personal freedom, and non-aggression. It's cool being amongst libertarians because most of you guys know what those mean. I do sometimes have to break down like non-aggression and stuff for other folks. So, and my top priorities that I'm running, first and foremost, getting cannabis legalized in Kansas. We are one of 2 states that does not even have medical available. So you can expect that to be one of the first things that I work on next year is finally getting that across the finish line. Not even medical first. We just need to skip over and go full legal. And then another big thing is just protecting our reproductive rights. Hopefully I'll be able to get into later. All eyes were kind of on Kansas. Back in August 2022, we were the first state to have it be a constitutional ballot measure on whether or not we do have a right to abortion. And I worked tirelessly on that with a lot of friends and reached across county lines and other groups. Party lines. And it was a big success. And we've continued to have to really stay on that issue. So cannabis, reproductive rights, and then taxes, man. Every person that I reach, every person that I talk to, knocking on doors or walking in parades is crushed by taxes, whether it's a specific school tax or whatever, depending on the municipality. It seems like everybody is just crushed by it. So there are so many opportunities and places where we can lighten that tax code, if not get rid of it altogether. So yeah, that's my quick, I don't know, hopefully it was a couple minutes, but happy to break it on specifics here in a bit.
So what's your experience? Like what do you do in life apart from running for office, which a lot of folks don't understand? That is a full-time job.
It really is. Yeah. So my background is actually in digital marketing. My husband and I co-founded a marketing firm that we ran for 5-6+ years back in Texas. And then when I moved to Kansas, a lot of my clients at the time were tourism based, so very specific to the area. So in Kansas, I just kind of do consulting and little projects here and there, but not running a full firm day to day, which I actually kind of like this gig better. And so I've worked on a lot of political campaigns. I've worked with a lot of candidates, and I used to be the state marketing director for about, 5-6 years for the state party since 2020. And so yeah, I've worked in a lot of campaigns as the marketing person. So you were talking about courting lit. I'm the same way. Or if I see a really good billboard, I'll be like, pull the car over. Got to get a picture of this. Same thing with the bad ones. I'm that way too. So this is my first time being the candidate. So it's kind of nice. I see, I'm kind of getting it full circle. So I'm understanding things that candidates used to tell me in the past. I'm understanding it now. So yeah, that's my background is digital marketing.
Okay.
You did a beautiful job for your state affiliate.
Thank
I just
you.
want to tell you, I've seen your work on some campaigns too. but you did a truly beautiful job on your state affiliate.
Thank you. My motto was always, because it got hard to keep that position just over the years. It's gotten more and more difficult. I'm actually not in that role anymore, but my goal was always, if I have to walk away from this at some point, I will leave it better than I found it. And I believe that I did do that. And that made it to where when it was really time to walk away from it, it made it to where I absolutely could honor that boundary because I felt like I did that. So I appreciate that. Marketing is a thankless job anyways, let alone with libertarians.
Yeah. So I'll go over your website real quick. So we've got come over here. Oh, here we go. Got some good stuff here. So what cities are what cities are you included on for Kansas?
Yeah. If you go to that second tab, the district map.
Okay.
So this is an issue that I'm actually getting ready to have to really blow up. They totally messed with the congressional maps a couple years ago to where you can see I've got like a little bit of sliver of Wichita. I've mostly got rural unincorporated areas, and y'all would not believe a video surfaced this week from back in 2020 when they passed this map. That is the lady that had the seat. So not the incumbent right now, but the Republican that had it before. And she straight up said, we have to maintain supermajority because for District 30, if we don't get Republican neighborhoods clumped together, we're going to lose it. And I'm just like, I lost sleep over that video last week, and I'm getting ready I'm going to do a mailer. I'm going to get some media focusing on it. So yeah, basically I have just little small towns. So Mulvane way down at the south is like the one town that I have all of it in, but I don't get, it's just funny the way they've carved out parts of Wichita, and it's mostly farms and stuff, but the joke's on them. I live out in this area. I live in the bottom right corner. So like, these are my neighbors. I speak their language. So yeah, we'll see, but the maps have been a whole, there's people who have been in my district their whole lives that now all of a sudden aren't. And it's because of the maps. And of course they didn't tell anyone, passed it quietly. And it's just, yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, south of Wichita. Okay.
So on the issues.
Politics.
What?
Yeah.
That's what we call politics.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm designing a mailer right now that is basically saying, like, regardless of if this is your party, you cannot be in favor of cheating. Like, there's got to be a better way. So we'll see what happens with that. But oh man, was I furious when, like, I know that was their point. That was the reason for it. But for her just to say it on camera, oh man.
Yeah. So one of the things I like about your issues is you have a lot of pro stuff. A lot of folks, I mean, you are a marketing person. I assume, communication, and like when you say anti and no a lot, that gets anti and no in the people that are reading your material. And so if they get anti and no in their mind about you, they associate you with no, and you want to associate pro and yes with your name. Yeah. So marketing is one of those things that you've got to think beyond what you want to say. You've got to think about what the other people want to hear.
Yeah. And I really fought for having that page on my website. Some of the folks on my campaign team didn't necessarily want me to be so forthcoming with certain issues, but one of the earliest pieces of feedback I got from talking to people was they're so tired of being told one thing in one way and it not being a real answer. They want to be able to know definitively. And so that's why I put it out there. And I've gotten at least 2 messages from people, kind of like the way I feel about Chase, where they're like, every single thing you say, every single position, I agree with you on. Like, there's not one thing that I would do differently. And I'm just like, how often do people get political candidates that's the case? So yeah, I was big on having all sides. And yeah, I feel like if you're so anti, people are going to think, well, then she couldn't possibly agree with this part of my life or this thing that's important to me because she's just anti all the things. So
yeah, I usually I lead with my issues, right? Let's see what.
It's raining issues over there.
I lead with my issues. I went ahead and docked up my own picture. But let me get one that's not. When I lead with my issues, I usually tell people you're probably not going to agree with maybe 20%. You're not going to like 20%, but the other 80% you're going to like, and you're going to want it. You're going to want it so much that the 20% that's not that bad, it's going to make sense.
Yeah. I tell, because we door knocked on both Republican, Democrat, Independent, and Libertarian doors. And I told the folks from the major parties, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I told them I want us to there's so much that I can agree with you on. I want us to work on those things first. And then further down the line, we can fight. Like we can fight next year or the year after. We can fight about the things that are different later. But right now, there is so much work that we can agree on. So many changes we can make to make the state better. Let's do those things first and save like you said, the 20% for another session.
Right. So, this is your first run?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what brought you to libertarianism?
Oh gosh, that is a great question. It's one of my favorites. I ask it on my podcast too. So for me, it was the year that it was like Trump, Hillary, Gary Johnson. I remember looking at the other two candidates and just thinking, this cannot be the best that we've got, And then I remember I'm really big on going to candidates' websites and doing your own research and not listening to the media, right? And so I remember looking at their websites and kind of seeing some stuff. And then Gary's was like all the hot button topics. It was like, LGBTQ or gay marriage. That's not for the government to decide. Abortion. That's not for the government to decide. Cannabis. What you do with your body is not for the government to decide. And it was just so consistent. And it made so much sense that I changed and kind of never really went back after that. So.
Excellent. So, do you have children?
I do. I have, believe it or not, I have a 17-year-old. Please do not do the math. I know I gave my age earlier. I have a 17-year-old and I have an 8-year-old. Both boys.
Oh, boys. Wow.
Yep. You
get a lot of frogs and critters.
Oh yeah, we live out on 20 acres, so we get the weirdest things. but it's good that we joke that our second child. So I homeschool them both. So it's crazy to me that my oldest is going off to college. Like it's going to be a big adjustment for him. It's his first teacher that wasn't mom in a really long time, and it's college. So it'll be interesting. So he was in public school for 3-4 years at the beginning, and then I brought him home versus my 8-year-old never been to public school and has always lived on a farm. So we joke that he's fully feral. Like he is just a feral child, but also is living the life. I'm jealous of his life.
Cara, how old is your child?
In his 30s.
Oh,
wow.
I'm in my 50s.
No.
Oh yeah.
I do not believe that.
I've been old. I feel it. This campaign, I'm already, I'm door knocking. And each 4 years, it's a little more of a challenge.
I think women, we are able to age a little bit more gracefully and than men, just for the pure and simple fact that we take care of our skin. What was that?
Say we moisturize.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moisturize. It's okay to put some lotion on.
We're not using that 3-in-1 stuff.
I've come to realize through these shows, this is like I think this is the 10th episode maybe now. I look better without any makeup on. I look better without the face. If I just moisturize and call it a day, the rest is going to work itself out. I definitely have to do the eyebrows and eyelashes or else I don't have any. But other than that, I'm starting to really embrace just my own natural skin. And I've been doing that. I feel like I look younger when I don't have it caked up on me. So I turned 40 and I think, for as much as laying out in the sun and being in these very summer type residence that I've lived in the majority of my life, I think I'm doing pretty good. This is a really great episode because we do have, it's an all female episode. And running for office as a female, we always get that question: are we pro-life, pro-choice?
You get it
So
running for city council.
yeah.
I'm like,
one of my first.
We do drink, drive, flush. We have nothing, literally nothing to do with that.
One of my first events for the campaign was speaking to a zoning group. They just thought Libertarian candidate, surefire fit, you know. First question I get, I had all my property rights, my eminent domain, I had all the talking points, right? First question I get, are you pro-life or pro-choice? Followed by, how do you feel about CRT? And I think I handled it okay. But when I tell you I was floored, when I tell you I was shocked, I mean, which I didn't even think about that. Would they have asked a man that? Probably not.
You know, I will say I think they would have. I do think they would have, like, for people that is a huge issue. Like, they're using it as a litmus test.
True.
And they're using it as a litmus test because, especially if they know you're a libertarian, they're trying to find out, but are you really, or are you really a Republican or a Democrat? Like, that's like, people are trying to put you in a box because they don't understand most of the time what libertarian means. And so that is a shortcut question to ask.
Yeah, totally agree.
If they can't get that one, they'll ask you, like, on a presidential year, they'll say, well, who are you voting for president then? You know, and then I tell them, and then they're like, I don't even know who that is. You should Google them. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Google works so good. Let me tell you, especially people all the time are like, what's your experience? Where have you been interviewed? Have you been vetted? I was like, have you tried Googling my name?
Yeah.
Just Google it. I promise you, every single Feena Bonoan article that shows up is about me. 100%.
/ it's also something really helpful you can do, whether it's for Chase or one of us, is Googling that candidate once or twice a day. Like, it will take you 2 seconds of your time, and it will help us infinitely.
Mm-hmm. We got a comment from Joe Hanush, who's out here in Florida. He's been on the show as well. He's a candidate out here, and he says, daily reminder to Google Chase Oliver. Yes. He also says, male candidates matter. Yes, they do. They do matter. And you do have an opinion. Your opinion is valid. And like he says, I've been asked the abortion question a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And you have to
be ready for that question. No matter what level you're running at, you're going to get that question.
Mm-hmm. We do have a question from Africa. When did each of them join the libertarian movement? So Olivia has already said that she came on with the Gary Johnson campaign. Cara, how about you?
So I also came on board with the Gary Johnson campaign, but that was 2012. So 2008, I was pushing for Ron Paul in Minnesota. And then in 2012, though, I heard Gary Johnson on a radio show, and it was when he was still seeking the Republican nomination. And I was like, this man is amazing. There's no way the Republicans would ever pick him. But I want to keep him on my radar. And the second he jumped to Libertarian, I was all in, and I was the campaign director in Minnesota for his campaign, both of his runs and then for Joe's run. So, yeah.
To answer that question myself, I'm a second generation libertarian. I was raised by my uncle philosophically. I wasn't raised by him, but politically I was. I went to some libertarian events, tabling events when I was a kid. And he's no longer with the Libertarian Party. He left for all the good reasons that I stayed. He said it was getting a little too weird, a little too gay, a little too colored. And I was like, really? What colors?
These are a few
all of them?
Favorite things.
Yes.
So I got detention in high school at my civics class for refusing to participate as a Republican or Democrat. And not only did I do that, I kind of incited a small crowd of folks, 3 or 4 people that weren't going to participate either because they're like, screw the system, it's rigged. And I was like, yes, it is. And we got some more questions from folks. Let's see what we got. Oh my gosh, we've had a lot. We got here we are. Okay, here's one. This is the long one. There is no we. Some people care and should have kids, and others should not because they are incapable either psychologically or financially to manage having a child. There are lots of parents out there right now who probably shouldn't be parents. 3 times as many pregnancies end in miscarriages as abortion. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. That's right. That's right. And, going back to what he said, my mom probably should not have, she definitely good on her for having an abortion. Not good on her necessarily, but I've never been mad at her for that.
Right.
I've never held that against her. She passed away, and I'm a woman that can't have children. I cannot have children. I would love the opportunity to have children. I've looked into adoption, and that costs a lot of money. Yes. It costs. Last time I looked into full-on adoption was back in 2020, and it was going to cost over $30,000. And none of that money went to the mother of the child. None of that money went to the future of that child. It all went to lawyers and agencies. And it's still buying and selling children. It's just we're not allowed to support the supplier.
Yeah.
And so I think that sucks.
This is something I tell folks on the campaign trail is that, they like that guy that was like, oh, you're, pro-choice. And I was like, well, I'm pro all the choices, because what you don't realize, I have friends that have gone through embryo adoption or friends that are storing embryos. And they're having issues now too. I have one friend that's literally trying to move her embryos out of a not safe state into a safe one. And so I'm all of the choices, whether it's abortion, adoption, all of them. I really don't like using pro-choice because it's such a, I don't like that term, it was invented. It's just propaganda that I want to retire. So I try to correct them. I'm pro-choices, all of them. I want to protect them all because they're all equally important.
Let me tell you, when you tell folks that are pro-life, that are anti-abortion, pro-life folks, that you can't have children and you wish that you could, find a way that you could take that pregnancy and put it in yourself, they are not for IVF. They are not for it either. They think that's just as much of an abomination as abortion. And to me, that's how are you going to be pro-life if you're not really pro-life?
Yeah. I thought it was crazy in Kansas because it was really heated back in 2022 when we were voting on the constitutional ballot. And it was so funny when people were making their case against it. I was just like, y'all know that you can go to the state website right now and see that our foster homes are flooded. There are children sleeping on benches in the police department on rainy and cold days. So if you're so gung-ho children, I know you're going to be in line tomorrow, right? Like, I know you're going to be there signing up to be a foster kid or a foster parent. And it's just, the hypocrisy of it all.
All right, we're going to switch gears because we're coming up on our Libertarian presidential update, but we have one more question, and I think it's an important question, and it leads up to the presidential update that we have at noon every day. And this one's coming from Daniel Fishman. What do you guys think about libertarians who try to put Kennedy on the ballot?
I think if they are in a leadership position, they should resign immediately. Further, I think they're pieces of shit. Okay. There you go.
My gut reaction was that they're not libertarians. And I don't mean that in the offensive way that most people use it. I mean that I genuinely, hear me when I say this, I want you to vote for the candidate that makes you feel good. I want you to vote for the candidate that you believe in, but do not come into my party and say that it is not Chase Oliver right now. Go be part of another party. That is fine. I want that for you. But Kennedy is not it. I remember one of the first guys in Kansas that was so gung-ho Kennedy, like before convention even, he was telling me how anti-state he was and everything. And I was like, bro, he's a Kennedy. He's American royalty. He is the state. What are you talking about? Like, you can't. Anyway, yes, if you want to vote for him, go and vote for him. But you do not need to use our party to do it.
So back to, what do you guys think about libertarians who try to put Kennedy on the ballot? I wish they would work a little bit harder to get Chase Oliver on the ballot. I think that would be cool. I think it'd be cool if they put as much effort and enthusiasm into our own candidates, good candidates. We have plenty of them. So if we're on episode 9, this particular show that I put on just out of request of folks here in Florida wanted me to do a podcast, so I did it. We've highlighted, 9. We've had 2 shows where we didn't have 2 candidates on. So we're like, what, 7.5. So we're like, what, 15, 16, 17 now candidates on the show. It's not too bad. The National, how many have they spotlighted this weekend? They could have done they could do so much more. That's just, I would like to see, if you're working for the party, especially if you're taking a paycheck from the party, then you should be working for the party. Let's see, we've got some more stuff.
If you are just like a rank and file libertarian and you have a view of like a different candidate, whatever, like you do you. But where I draw the line is if you are in some type of leadership position and you are using your voice in that leadership position, or your area of responsibility to go against our candidate, like our party's candidate, and try to get some other piece of shit on the ballot, resign. Yeah. You can do that, but resign your position.
And it couldn't be happening to, Chase deserves so much better than this. My personal experiences with him and Mike both, they're amazing people. And they're the last people that deserve this.
Good candidate, good person, both of them.
And that's for me, I actually don't have that much of a problem with forming coalitions with independent parties or independent candidates, but you need to be putting in that same effort for our candidates. If there's not a pack for Chase Oliver and there's a pack for RFK, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
Yes.
And as far as RFK goes, for me, I think I would have supported RFK if he got the Libertarian nomination, because I decided ahead of the game, it's like, I'm going to support whoever the presidential candidate is for the Libertarian Party, regardless of who we put up there. And, that could have I definitely dodged some bullets there, but RFK screwed it up. He screwed it up over a year ago when he was at Pork Fest. He came out of Pork Fest and was like, I'm not going to get their nomination. I'm not going for it. I don't want to be there. Okay, don't. He said it a long time ago that he wasn't going to do it. Then why did he keep sniffing around? Why is he sniffing around still? Like, don't diss us in the media and then come ask us for fucking money.
Well, he had a chance.
Ballot access.
He threw his hat in the ring at convention. He had a chance fair and square, just like the other ones, and he didn't have the votes. I remember seeing,
and that's after he went around saying he didn't want our votes.
Yeah, and we still put him up there, and he did the paperwork, and I always tell people he was a viable candidate. He could have been ours, but when at the end of the day, he did not have the votes in that room. He did not have the delegate votes, not even close. What was it, like 18? Not even close.
Well, and there's a difference on coalitions. So when you're talking about doing coalitions with other emerging parties, like I'm all for that. We have in the past in my state, because we have to petition to get candidates on the ballot, we have worked with the Greens in that we carry their petitions, they carry our petitions, and you get signatures for both candidates, right? And we would do that like on a weekend or something. We didn't do it the whole time, but like we would do that. Or if we needed to do a lawsuit to try to gain ballot access, we would have other emerging parties sign on to that lawsuit. So that is coalition building. Raising money for an opponent of your candidate, money that they would not get otherwise, that is not coalition building. That is destroying your own party and harming your own candidate and your activists. So,
all right,
that's not coalition building.
Correct. Yeah, and I've yet to see RFK. He didn't even come to the free and equal debate. I've yet to see him be like, all debate, but also include Chase. Like we do that here in Kansas too, because we have two other brand new parties. We have no labels in United Kansas, and I am happy to help elevate those candidates in any way, shape, or form, whether it's our own panel, our own discussions, our own debates, whatever. But that's not happening the other way around. Like RFK is not fighting for Chase to be at debates. So, I mean,
absolutely.
He's
all
playing
right. We've
the
hammered
same
this
two-party
one.
game.
We have hammered this one good. It
Oh,
is
and I want to tell
time.
you, I found I know I had these, we have these in Minnesota. This is the little tip card. And you used to be able to get these through lp.org, or your state would do them. And it was really nice saying, please accept this gift. You could put your info of your state on how to join. And then inside, they, of course, have the world's smallest political quiz. So this was something that was very nicely done. And I really wish LP National had not discontinued this. But yeah, I dug it out of my box. So when you saw me during a break, like frantically digging through a box, that's what I was doing, is digging through my lit box.
All right, ladies, we're going to come back to you. But first, we have to go to our presidential update coming from Miss Amber Howell. So please stand by. I will come back to you guys after the presidential update. Amber.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back to the show.
I'm at a friend's house, so I'm going to keep my camera off so you don't see me fighting her dogs.
Well, okay. Yeah, we're more cat people, I think, on this show anyway. So, I mean, the dogs are cool. Dogs are all right. Just we prefer the cats walking across the screen because they're quieter unless they knock something off, Yeah. Crazy cat ladies for Chase.
Yeah. So, well, we went to Iowa. Whole team went to Iowa pretty much.
Oh, I've got a really good graphic that I found off of the Chase Oliver fan club. Actually, I don't think it made it. All right, so I'm gonna let you. We got some pictures here. I'm gonna let you go through the pictures. Okay. If you want to click them up, because I want to bring this other picture that I downloaded onto the screen, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
go ahead. You've got those. Yeah.
All right, so here is Chase. He was doing the pork producers tent where they flip pork chops and hamburgers, and then they'll serve them to people. So you get to talk to people one-on-one while you're serving. And then that's all of the yummy goodness. And then we had to have a little fun with the chicken.
Is that the RFK chicken?
That is the RFK chicken from convention. And then this one was funny. We went and they had a bunch of different, almost like a flea market type things. There was a couple stores because the fair is just so gigantic. But the little poster said, Iowa, for some reason you have to come here to be president. And then, so an RFK was supposed to speak, but he dropped out, I think, due to security concerns because it's open air. It's just on a stage outside. And then there is all the teams. So we have Jenny on the left, Elaine, Kelsey, Chase, Jax. I'm not sure who the other person is, but I think they're from Iowa too. And then on the
Mhm.
bottom, there's me, Jenny's daughter, and Sherry.
Nice.
And then I got there early so I could march in the parade with LP Iowa. And so there's me, Kennedy, and Jenny marched in the parade. I got some rough blisters from that. And then Mike, he had gone to, let me make sure I get this right. He had gone to West Virginia for Martinsburg. So there's a couple of pictures from that meet and greet with him. See, now the dogs are trying to play and I'm not.
I like Mike. I like Mike because he's definitely very sociable. He's a people pleaser. He lets others speak, and I think that's something that's important for, politicians to allow. That's a mean look he's got there. That's a business. That's the business look.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this graphic of where Chase Oliver's going to be. Let's see, August. So he was at the Soho Forum, correct?
Yep, he did the Soho Forum. The argument was that Trump is the best presidential candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a poll afterwards, which Chase won the debate by like 60-something%,
Mm-hmm.
which was cool. I had a screenshot of that, but I did not upload it.
I did too. And I'm trying, let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second. There it is. Let's see if it'll upload this time. I find that if I'm trying to upload too many graphics at once, that it doesn't always grab them all. So these are the results after the Soho debate. So it looks like 24% of people that were undecided did change their mind. And it looks like they are not going to vote for Trump.
Yes, we want them to vote for us.
Yes, vote for us. So where's Chase Oliver going to be next week?
Well, his birthday is on Friday.
Really? So Chase is a Leo.
Chase is a Leo. He'll be turning 39.
Happy birthday, Chase.
We gave him, I don't think we gave him the day off. I think I made him work. But
that's okay.
Let's see, where are they going next week? It's getting so crazy that I don't know. So I know that they are going to New Jersey for a little bit today for, I think, a luncheon. And then they're doing an anti-war to the core rally today. And then, let's see, I'll just scroll for next week. So Mike is going to the Iowa State Fair next weekend. And then I think he is doing Michigan, Wisconsin Day. And then we should be going to Iowa, I believe. Not Iowa. We just came from Iowa. Ohio. I think sometime next week. Yeah. So they're doing Toledo and a couple of other stops in Iowa. Or not Iowa. I keep saying Iowa. Ohio. Sorry.
Ohio. All right. Well, Miss Amber, I thank you for always providing a great presidential update.
Yep. And I did leave you a TikTok in the video section if you want to show that too.
Thank you. Let me see. The TikTok, the eminent domain one.
Yep. So that was a big thing for Iowa and farmers that were trying to install a CO2 pipeline, which we know how we feel about eminent domain. So, but we did
Let's play it, and then we'll say our see you next Tuesdays after that.
Well,
Okay.
right now we're heading to Fort Dodge to speak with farmers at a rally that's opposing eminent domain that's being used to seize farmers' property to build carbon sequestration pipelines. It's happening in several states across the country, and here in Iowa is no different. We want to speak up for property owners, for farmers, and their ability to do what they want with their property and not have the government steal their land, even if it's for something that they think might be noble to build. If it's a good idea, you shouldn't have to force farmers to sell their land below market value to do it.
That's good.
So hopefully we can do some more on the road stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Amber, thank you again for coming on. We'll see you next Tuesday. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. I will see you in person next week as I'll be home.
Yay! All right. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
All right, folks, we're going to do some commercials first. Sorry. Got to catch up on a little bit of commercials. And if I was better, I would have had this keyed up and ready to go. We'll start out with women voters. It's oldie but goodie. When I go in a voting booth, I know I'm a libertarian. And I say, I'm going to vote libertarian. Well, out here in Hawaii, sometimes there's not an option for libertarian. Sometimes there's only the big D there. So I go through and I look and I'm like, I'm going to pick the women. And I've met so many women that say that too. Like when they don't know who to vote for, they just want to pick the women. And I'm okay with that. I don't care why people vote for me. And I'm trying to get into this Congress thing, trying to start a liberty movement out here in Hawaii. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Good for you.
Montani Semper Liberi. Words that ring true in the hearts of every West Virginian. Mountaineers are always free. Free to live, free to be whoever they want to be. Bureaucrats shouldn't tell us how to live our lives, to tax us and waste our money. This November, West Virginia has a better choice for governor. I am Erica Kalenich, and I'm asking for your vote.
All right. Welcome back, ladies. We're in the second half.
Yes. And I have a Chase update.
Okay.
So in Minnesota, we needed to get 2,000 signatures to get Chase on the ballot. And so we validated. We do have a high validation rate in Minnesota. So generally speaking, if you get like 22 to 2,400, you're going to get him. So we did turn in just under 2,500 signatures to get Chase on the ballot. The due date is the 20th. So we got it done ahead of time. And thanks to, we had people working in Minnesota, the Chase director in Minnesota and deputy director, Anna and Sean, like they did amazing work on that and keeping people motivated. Bill Redpath came in for almost a week and assisted us. I know he's headed to Tennessee right now to help them finish up. He was in Kentucky helping them. Like, that man is an animal. Rick Stewart came from Iowa. He came up for 5 days and helped us. He's done petitioning for a long time. And so it was very nice for our younger volunteers to learn from him. So that was great. And we're really excited about that. And hopefully we get the news soon on getting the validation done and having him officially on the ballot. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that Chase Oliver's got Alabama. The petitions are in. We've lost New York. And I believe we lost Illinois.
Yes.
And that sucks.
Illinois, New York was almost inevitable. Illinois that was unfortunate. Yeah.
So the second half, we're supposed to have Hannah Goodman on, but she canceled last minute. Sorry. But in spirit of good faith, I do want to present her website and share that with you folks so you can support other libertarian candidates. across the nation. So Hannah Goodman, she's running in Colorado for Colorado's 4th Congressional District. And last week we actually had another Colorado candidate. Looks like proven leadership. Let's see, commitment to principles. See, as the current chairwoman of the Libertarian Party of Colorado, mother of 6, seasoned project manager, Hannah embodies the dedication, skill, and visionary thinking our party needs, not just to succeed, but to redefine what it means to champion liberty in America, advancing capitalism. It says follow her on X. Record of success. She grew membership and vision for the future. Okay. Let's see. Well, she got issues. Let's see what she got for issues. Empower rural prosperity, revolutionize affordable housing, secure innovative water rights, which is probably very important in Colorado. Peace and prosperity. Sounds good. Let's see. That's a good mission. Let's see what mission is. I like it when people have different things like mission. Dedicated, prepared, ready for growth. From my experience in project management, to my tenure as chairwoman of the Libertarian Party of Colorado, my journey has been driven by a single passion: advancing liberty. My commitment to the libertarian cause is unmatched, and my vision for our country is clear. I learned more about my journey, why I'm running, and the endorsements that stand testament to our shared vision for a freer future. Vision for our country is clear. Okay. All right. So I hope that we can get Hannah back on the show at another point in time. We do have some more comments. Okay. The normal host has spoken. The normal host is in the chat. So, and you know what? I gotta say, we are streaming on his platform as well. We are streaming on his X platform too. So, he gets a voice. I get this is a woman's issue, but this is for the men. We got one choice. One, use a condom or not. That's it. Once that decision is made, we lose control of all others. Now, it's not just the condom. There is a medical procedure that you could have that is completely reversible. The vasectomies. If now is not your time, you can hold them babies and hold your puppies for later. Here's another one. I don't believe this is something to be voted on. It's between the woman, the doctor, and the GD willing, the father. I'm more worried about fixing the world so abortions aren't considered a reasonable option. That'll take a lot of fixing. Okay.
Yeah,
we got Michelle McCutcheon. Say again?
It's a cultural issue. I mean, politics follows culture. And we're trying to push a string by making politics push culture.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with what you said earlier, Feena. You were saying how you surprise people by being like, yes, I'm also pro-life. I do the same thing. Like, I hope that you choose that, but I'm not about to require you to. I'm not about to make it legal for you not to. It really is that simple. I know a lot of people try to overcomplicate it, but you either believe we have autonomy or we don't.
Erica is an excellent candidate.
Yes, she is.
She's spectacular.
I gotta be the truth. I gotta come out the truth. All right, Cara, you were my number 2 pick. You were my number 2 pick. Erica was my first.
As it should be.
She was so good. She was so good, and I wanted to know more about her because when she came on the show, it was the first time I spoke with her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to know more about her. I want to get but I was like, number 2 is definitely Cara. Definitely Cara. 100% definitely Cara.
Erica is
solid number 2.
Spectacular. I cannot recommend her highly enough as a human being and as a candidate.
She's great. She is great. But she was making a new commercial, which I'm excited about because I've been playing her commercials like crazy. And folks, if you have any 2-minute videos, 2 minutes or less, I do put a cap at 2 minutes. And it's not just because I don't love you for 3 minutes. It's because the system, when I put it in for commercial runs, the max is 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is anything less than 2 minutes. And I don't care if it's a TikTok video. I don't care if it's landscape or vertical. It doesn't matter. I'll play it. Then we got another one. Congrats on getting 2,500 signatures. I told a conservative group at the Elk Lodge last night they should vote for Chase Oliver. Very good. Michelle also chimed in. There will be a chance to write him in for Illinois and New York.
We're good to go here in Kansas. He's official. He's good to go. We still have ballot access. And we did recently get, there was something weird happening where if we didn't get the required amount for Chase, we were looking at potentially losing ballot access. And we actually got a decision from the Secretary of State. We didn't ask for it. It just kind of went out on the news, but they're not basing our continued ballot access on how we do with Chase. So it's been a whole thing here in Kansas, but we're just so relieved that it's not up for debate. We could get 0 votes for Chase. We're not going to, but we could get 0 votes for Chase and we would still maintain ballot access after November. So we were pretty nervous there for a while. So looking good to go here in Kansas. I don't know if anybody from Kansas is listening or needed the update.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there are people from Kansas listening because my roommate is from Kansas.
Cool. Okay.
My roommate's from Kansas, so she's probably gonna kill me for telling folks where she's from, but there'll be people from Kansas watching this, and that's the thing about this episode, this show. I don't know who's watching. I got maybe about 10, 15 core folks that I know is probably gonna watch, but then the rest of the folks, it's a grab bag, you know, and it's people that are scrolling across their social media, and it's up, and it's people that you know. People that Cara knows, people that I know that maybe aren't even in the party, right? And or people from like 3 weeks episode ago, and they saw a little clip of their friend that's in Texas or something, and they decide they like this show, and they tune in another time, and you just never know who's going to be in the watching. So
it's such a good way to get us used to get us to know the candidates, because like on the local level, I meet people all the time that are like, of course I would vote for you over major party. I know you. I know your track record. I know what's important to you. And then I will be like, okay, well, what about Chase? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So it's anything we can do to help give candidates more time to let people learn about them and get to know them. It's so good.
Yeah. I'm going to put this command copy in the banners so that this is going across real quick. It's your contact that you shared with me. Hey, there we go. We got some more comments to go through. Let's see. Another Mike Scott that's the bottom line. You either have autonomy or you don't. That's why you don't give government power over your body. The risk being others can do things you may disagree with. True. I think that's a good segue into a man saying, your body is your body. Commercial.
What you do with your body should be none of the government's business. Your body is your body. Your property is your property. Your life is your life. Vote Libertarian. My friend Chase Oliver is standing for president, and I'm out here running for vice president on the Libertarian Party ticket because we believe that your decisions should be your own. Go for a run if you want. Or not.
That's pretty cute.
That was good.
All right, I'm gonna play another Erica commercial, and then I've got a sneak peek for you guys. It's a sneak peek for everybody. It's my next commercial. I got inspired by Jeremy Flicken, who's usually in the comments, usually watching too. He started cutting up some commercials for me, and I kind of got inspired. I was like, okay, I do need to cut some more commercials. But first, let's play another Erica commercial while I queue up the next one.
I advocate for everybody's rights all of the time, which means gun rights and freedom of speech all of the time, irregardless. I think that focusing on guns as a violence problem takes it away from what the real issue may be, which is a societal problem. Why do we want to kill each other? Framing a limitation of a freedom or liberty as a way to protect people is a slippery slope, because you slowly start infringing on freedoms and liberties, and you slowly start chipping away at those things until you have nothing left. And that's why it's important to always advocate for all liberties and all freedoms all the time.
I urge this committee to end this game of whack-a-mole and vote no to House Bill 1613.
You're meeting others where they are, and you're treating them with respect.
I'm Feena Bonoan, and I approve this message. Imagine we have the same enthusiasm to build rockets, to go to outer space, as we do for building rockets, warheads, to send to foreign countries. From the moment we knew of our son's expiration date, our son, we had the moral obligation to our future generations.
Though your world is quaking, mind is shaking, life is a blur. It is time for you to step into your power. Though your world is quaking, mind is shaking, life is a blur. It is time for you to step into your power.
I'm one of them. Those are the people that I came from.
We're going to have this narrow window where we can have an advantage.
We believe in maximum freedom and limited government.
Step into your power. Step into your power. Though your world is quaking, mind is shaking, life is a blur. It is time for you to step into your power. Though your world is quaking, mind is shaking, life is a blur. It is time for you to step into your power.
All right. So that's a sneak peek. Obviously, is not complete. It is not finished at all. And I just put in some alligator B-roll in there to hold space. But when you're creating video content, there's different ways to start. Some people start with the video and the images and then create music around it. And then some people start with the music and then create the images to fit the music. And for this piece, I started with the music. And I'm adding in, and Cara, I hope you're okay with me using that because I thought it was like such a good quote. No narrow margin of window that we can do something. I was like, that's perfect. Even though you were talking about AI there, I thought it was great.
I liked the little baby crocodile being all protected in there. I liked that.
Yeah, I mean, the crocodiles might stay. Some of the crocodiles might stay because that's Florida. Yeah, that's part of Florida. But this is an interesting election year. You know, we have great candidates. I think that the Democrats definitely played the Republicans hard on, you know, letting Joe Biden even debate. Looking at it now in hindsight, you know, they say hindsight is 2020. And I think that this has been a long game move. I really do. I think Kamala being a candidate this year, I can't believe the Republicans didn't see that coming. And there's, like you said, probably not talking about what I'm talking about, Cara, because you're talking about AI. There is a narrow margin that we have the advantage, and it's not just with, us being women. It's about us going against the system. It's about us stepping into our power. It's about us having control over our lives and our futures, And so this is that was a little sneak peek. Hopefully I'll be so I'm going on the road. Tomorrow. I'm going on the road tomorrow. I'll be in Pensacola tomorrow evening. And I'm not leaving the house until I finish that commercial. I'm not getting on the road till I finish that commercial. So I'll be ready to go for next week. And I might put it out early just so it's, out there in the space. But we're coming up in Florida on what I consider the most dangerous time in an election campaign. And that is the days of the primary, because
Primaries today in Minnesota.
It's in primary today. Yeah.
We had ours a couple weeks ago.
Ours is on the 20th, but early voting started this past weekend. And if you've never run a campaign, you maybe don't understand this. And that is, there's going to be people that don't make it through the primary. Mm-hmm. And those folks, they either were running because they hated the incumbent, or they were trying to make a name for themselves. And if they're running because they didn't like the incumbent, then that's probably a future friend, for the campaign. Possibly. Good chance. But if they're running just to make a name for themselves, they're going to be salty. They're going to be salty at you because you're going to be on the ballot in November. Their game is over. They didn't advance to the next round. And they will come after you. I definitely experienced that in my previous campaigns. And so, and out of everybody, the ones that are salty they didn't get on the ballot they can be the most dangerous ones, because maybe they raised $1 million. Maybe they raised $2 million, and maybe they got more votes in the primary than you're going to even get in the general. And jealousy is real, and it can definitely bite you in the butt. And they can, so this is, like I said, it's a dangerous part of the election cycle for third-party candidates across America. So stay safe out there while you're running. This year has been a year of surprises in the election, not just with Kamala Harris, but with Trump getting shot. And whatever you think about that, I guarantee you that he didn't sign up for that. He did not okay that. Like, no one would. So stay safe out there. We've got some more questions from the audience. We got Joseph Mills. Cara, where in Minnesota are you at? And Olivia, where is your district in Kansas? Okay. We'll go over that again. Go ahead, Cara.
So I am in Burnsville, Minnesota, which is a suburb in the Twin Cities area. Although we are a city in our own right, we're not a bedroom community. We are a city, and it is like 65,000 people in our city, and we don't have districts. It's at large. So all of our city council seats are at large.
Okay. Olivia, should I show your website again, or do you want to just explain it?
Me? Oh, sorry. So I am south of Wichita. So pretty much all the little kind of communities, rural townships, rural. I get a sliver of Wichita, but then I get most of the kind of like a horseshoe or an anchor. I get smaller communities south of Wichita.
So we were talking earlier about the gerrymandering out there, and I know there's gerrymandering everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious, apart from if there's any all right, so my experience with gerrymandering, really seeing it, was out in Hawaii when they changed up the districts. And I noticed that the one city on Oahu that is considered like the Filipino home, like You knock on a door, chances are it's Filipinos there. Don't matter what door it is, probably going to be. And I say that my husband was born and raised out there in that same community, and he's Filipino too. And I noticed that after the 2020 election, that town, that city got split up into like 4 or 5 districts so that that community would not have a solid voice. Because then I looked at more of the data. When you really look at the election data and really like crunch the numbers and you put things together, you realize that for some reason the Filipino community was really digging on Trump. They had a higher turnout for him than they did in any other district.
Right.
Not saying that Trump won that district, because he did not. He didn't. But there were a lot of people that did vote for him more than any other district. And they split it up. They just completely split it up, which I think it hurts communities that are like. So is there a predominant demographic that's in Wichita or in that area that they are trying to split up?
100%. I mean, in that video I referenced where they pretty much admitted to needing to clump together Republican neighborhoods, they called this district pro-Biden, which that's not my experience, but to them, and the thing too about this district specifically, when the incumbent, Renee, when she won this would have been, let's see, I've got the data here. Anyway, when she won her seat, she only won by 3%. She won by 1,100 votes. So this is a gamble that they are taking because they think that those rural communities are going to vote R based on principle. But when you look at like the map for our big abortion vote, the pockets of places that voted against it and carried the vote, Wichita was a big one. We had all these little rural pockets of counties that surprised everyone, because even the most conservative of farmers, I live on land because I want to be left alone. And that's how a lot of farmers are. And even they could see that overstep as something inappropriate. So I'm telling you, it's really just a matter. They're taking a gamble. I know why. They're grasping at straws. And they're also nervous. I mean, like I said, we have a libertarian mayor technically in Wichita. And how libertarian she is remains to be seen. But I'm rooting for her as a friend, as a girl, as a female in politics. I am rooting for her, but it's just that momentum is there, so it's a gamble they're taking on this map, but I am determined to make sure it doesn't work in their favor, because every person that I speak to, I knocked on one door the other day and they're like, you get my vote, you're here. Because they don't focus on, they're counting on these small Republican neighborhoods, they're counting on these farmers, but they're also not campaigning out there. She doesn't leave her little pocket of Wichita, the incumbent. So yeah, it is definitely I get it. I know why they're doing it. We put up a fight here in Wichita, especially for abortion rights. And yeah, about 2020 was when they started making changes to the maps. And it's just so funny the way that it's carved out. I mean, nicer neighborhoods are carved out. The casino neighborhood is carved out. The neighborhood by the mall, so like the business owners and stuff. It's just, they didn't even try to make it sneaky with what they were doing. It's just so obvious. But yeah, a big part of my campaign is actually focusing on those smaller Republican neighborhoods and townships. So we'll see.
I'm going to try to play the link that you sent me. Let's see how it goes. 1 second. Okay. Because I am streaming on, I don't know how to make it go backwards. We're going to do it anyways. We're going to see how it goes. So I'm going
the words. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I told her I don't really have a commercial per se, but I've got like reels because I live on Instagram. So this is from that zoning meeting that I was telling you guys about. And so I just break down my first 3 platform links.
Okay. And it's not
as little as possible. So for instance, yes, I believe that we should have a police force, right? I believe they should exist. But I do not believe that they should waste resources for things like simple cannabis possession or simple zoning violations that didn't hurt anyone. So it's a good example of small government. Local control. I don't think that Washington, D.C. should be making rules for Kansas. And I don't think Topeka should be making rules for Mulvane. I think that local municipalities, cities, and counties, they know what's best for their citizens because they live with their citizens. So we should be empowering them to be more in control of the rules and regulations in their towns. Personal freedom. So a big tenet of the Libertarian Party is the idea that you own all rights to your body and your property. And I fully intend on fighting for both of those rights for every single citizen in Kansas. So, for instance, that does include, when I say personal freedom, you own your body, you own your property, that includes what you can do on your property. So again, just like with police force, I don't necessarily want to see zoning rules and regulations completely abolished, but I think so many of them can just be relaxed.
All right. Let me put your mics back on. Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm definitely down for any of those reels that you have.
Okay.
Send them to me in not an Instagram post though.
Okay. Yep. I've got some on Facebook and stuff too, so I can go and find those. But
something I can download.
Okay.
Something I can download. Like Google Drive. So after the show, you will get on that email that I sent you originally. That's got the link. That's got the links on them to log on to this. There's a Google Drive link, and on that Google Drive, there is your episode will be on there. And then there's a folder in that drive as well that's called 2-minute clips. And so I take this full episode and I put it into the AI video editor that I purchased for the campaign. And it takes the entire episode and it searches for the best 2-minute clips that will go viral. And then I I look through them. I play them first. I try to tweak them to see if I can get like better angles or whatever, because sometimes it's not the best angle. And then the best of the best I put up there. I put up the best of the best. And so you'll have a lot this week.
Yay, yes, yeah. All about a 2-minute reel.
I liked your reel, and I want to point to your middle point, which is about local control. And the reason I want to point that out is, number one, yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that is an issue that at the level you're running for, and also the level I'm running for, that's an important issue. But the other reason why I want to point that out is because libertarians tend to use weird language that no one else would ever use. So when libertarians are talking about the concept of they want nullification, right? That is a term no one knows what it means, and it just sounds weird. It just sounds odd. No one knows what it means. And then when you start to try to explain it, it's not good. It is not good. But they could be talking about the concept of local control, which is what you spoke about, Olivia. You framed it as an issue of local control. That is an issue that most people know, most people understand. And there's also been decades of work on that by both Republicans and Democrats, who support it at the local level. And so there's already momentum behind that concept. That is already a favorable concept that has a lot of momentum behind it. And so libertarians, instead of pushing for local control and a concept that you just, give another nudge with the millions of other people that are currently giving a nudge to it, right? They come up with some dumbass shit and call it nullification and make it weird. They just make it weird. So Thank you, Olivia, for not making it weird.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, you're so right about we have to remember on the campaign trail that people don't know the things that we know as libertarians. I literally have non-aggression as one of my platform planks, and people ask me about that all the time. And of course, libertarians, I mean, we swear on it. A lot of us click that box just to be members. And so we really have to think. In marketing, I have a really mean rule that I used to use in marketing when it came to messaging. And I would tell people, let's say you have a post or you have a call to action or something. I would tell them, okay, now think of your your friend that's not the brightest. Think of your dumbest friend. Would they understand what you're asking for in that post? And it's mean, but it's true. Like, you have to think of the person that does not follow politics at all. Will this make sense to them? And I built on our governor candidate that I worked on a couple years ago. One of his platform planks was local control. So I got to see the way he explained it, what ways landed, what ways didn't. And it's no different than believing we say the biggest minority is the individual. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but looking at your municipality. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes. So very well done. I'm always looking for like libertarians that are framing things really well in their campaigns, or, you know, just in general. So seeing someone frame that in a way that's easily understandable, love it, love it, love it, love it. And yes, like that is definitely something people can understand. And it resonates with a lot of people. No, someone in Washington, D.C. should not be deciding on where you can put your garbage can.
Yeah. Well, and we see it with cultural issues too. I mean, like, for instance, Kansas had a bill now 2 sessions ago about, like, and I don't mean to open up a can of worms, but the topic of the bill was like women in sports and the high school and middle school level, like whether or not they were going to allow that. And the reality of the situation was it was not an issue in Kansas. I mean, I tracked it down. It was a couple of girls at the middle school level who wanted to like wrestle or something. It didn't need to turn into this big thing. And again, it's because this Republican supermajority is taking talking points from Washington. They are bringing in issues and creating these hot button topics for us to fight about when they're not really Kansas issues. Yep. And do you know what could have solved that? Is local control, is letting that school district, the one school district that it was happening in, having their parents and their teachers and their school board decide what they wanted to do. I always think about those poor students when they saw a bill get passed that say that they did not want them in that sport. Like,
I know.
How do you think those 2 students in the entire state feel? Like, yeah, local control. It can just solve so many of our issues if we'd give it a fighting chance.
Take note, libertarians. Stop with the weirdo language.
Yeah.
I may be guilty of that. I don't know. Maybe. I do want to share. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to show you those the clips so you see them and also others see them as well. So this is let me make sure it's actually showing. Yes, it is. Yay. All right. So this is where the episodes go. So we're on our 11th episode, actually. We'll go here, 2-minute clips. Come on. Here we go. So this is like from everyone that's been on the show. Even Joe Hanoush, who says he doesn't have any good angles. You had good angles. When I said angles, I'm talking about like kind of how the how it splits up. Like I've noticed that if I do the 3, I'll do it over here. If I do this layout, does not look good when we do the 2-minute clips. Yeah, but this one works out pretty well because it'll cut in on the square of your face. It may not get your full name, but at least you see that. So that's pretty good. But
I'm excited to see what it pulls out. That's awesome. I love little snackable sized videos. So
yeah. Yes.
And so those are available they're available to all the guests that have been on the show already. And yeah, so share them. I'm going to start streaming them. So like I said earlier, right now we're in the most dangerous part of the campaign, right?
Yep.
And if you know anything about show business, you can't put it all out in the beginning. You got to save something for the last, right? So after the primary, I will be playing those clips 3 times a day, like 3 clips a day. So that's my trying to make it bigger, right? You got to save some for the for the race. This is a long race. This is a marathon, and you got to save something for the end. And so that's what I've been saving. I've been saving that for the end, folks.
It's so funny because some days I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're almost getting to the end. I gotta like really ramp it up. It's almost November, but then other days I'm like, I got time. Maybe that's normal. I don't know, first time candidate, but it's like I'm either rushed and freaking out that I'm running out of time, or I'm like,
that's pretty normal. That's a pretty normal way for candidates to feel. Like right now, I'm doing deep dives into some pretty intensive data. I made my data purchase to get as much information as I could about, our residents. And so now I'm breaking them up into as small of affinity groups as I can so that I can create very targeted messaging just to those really small affinity groups. And so, the amount of time in a campaign, if you spend more time really in depth in your planning, and it takes up a lot of time where you start to feel a little bit of heart palpitations that you're not doing anything. But that really pays off for you because it's going to help you direct your efforts and your limited resources, which is your time, money, your volunteers, into the most productive areas possible. So I have everything on a calendar. Like when I'm running, I have everything on a calendar. And the first thing I do is put all the major dates on of everything, filing deadline, like everything. And then I put in all the major events in the area, get those on there. And then I start to say, okay, well, if I'm doing this parade, that means I have to have a special lit piece designed for that parade, which means I have to have it to the printer by this date, which means I have to have it designed by this date, which means, and I do that for absolutely everything. And it's all on my calendar. And then that also kind of helps with that feeling of panic that you get on occasion where you're like, oh, and you're like, am I on track though? Like, am I on track? And if the answer is yes, it's like, okay, Cara, just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're on track. You're doing what you should be doing when you're supposed to be doing it. So
that's one of the first things we did was have like a timeline of like each month and what events is it feasible to go to and not. And making sure we're spreading out the area and stuff. So anytime I panic, I just like kind of go back to the plan. I'm like, I got 2 more events this month. And I do want to brag on 2 things though. So one thing I want to brag on, I found out, so my treasurer for my campaign is also the treasurer for the state party. And he told me like last week or the week before that my campaign is out fundraising the party month over month. And so
that's yay and also boo.
It's yay. I think if anyone knows,
I know.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a 100% good thing because we are a third party. We're a third party. We don't have a lot of funds in our party money. Yeah. And so if our candidates are out fundraising our party, that's a good thing. That means that our small resources are being used wisely.
Yeah. In Kansas, we have, and I didn't know about this till I ran, but we have like if you're going to raise less than $1,000, there's like a waiver you can sign with the state to just basically say you don't really have to do, like that's the last thing they need from you. You don't have to do anything else, right? And so I had a friend who works in this realm reach out and be like, hey, FYI, that deadline was today. And I was like, I know you think that because I'm a libertarian that I'm working with limited resources, but I am well over that that waiver. So definitely proud of the people that are supporting and the team. And it just goes to show that I don't know, my style of messaging libertarianism, especially locally, like it does work. And so it's, I famously ran for vice chair this year and got pushed out for reasons. And so when I got that message that I was out raising the party, I was just like, man, it's such a shame because I would have done this for my state party. I would have raised this money for my state party and I still will someday. But so I feel like that's really good. And then I want to make a case for data. So this is going to make Cara and a guy on my campaign team who Cara knows, Dan, very happy. Dan and I worked on the governor campaign, and he was very big about purchasing lists and purchasing data. And of course, my marketing brain was like, we don't really have the money. I've purchased marketing lists before. They're outdated. You know, like I kind of was a stickler about it. Like I was like, eh. But for this campaign, I had the money. So I was like, sure, let's do it. So it was not as expensive as I thought it would be. And also Dan, we got a list of people in my district who are from all parties, including, you know, Libertarian, Independent, all of them. And it was people that voted in the last 2 presidential elections and people that voted in our big abortion vote, because that brought out a lot of people that had never voted before. And I tell you what, you can tell a difference on door knocking because these people want to talk to me. These people are not slamming the door in my face for the most part. They are active voters. And I was like, I don't know that I want to include Republicans, you know, but no, it's been, so yeah, if you have access to it, and I'm blanking on what service Dan
L2.
uses. Yes, that one. Yeah, I was like, it's like a really short abbreviation, L2. And it's been really impressive. And like, yeah, you're talking about the really micro targeted messaging.
Yes.
I'll never forget being at a social media conference back in Austin, and it was after Trump's first run, and his social media director was there, and he talked about their targeted advertising and how they would narrow it down to like the smallest niche, and how it was really the key to them. That's why you had like blue collar workers thinking Trump was their guy, is because of this targeting. And so I've always wanted to be able to do that. So the fact that you're taking the time and doing it, I mean, that's it. There really is something to it. And I know we can be scared of data. And even I was, as someone that knew the power of it, but definitely if your campaign can afford it, get with Cara, get with someone, or even look into L2. It doesn't sound like it's that hard to navigate, but I was just surprised that it really has worked and that it wasn't as expensive as I thought. So
yeah, you can get a surprising amount of data. Like L2 will give you voter information, right? So who's voted, when do they vote? Are they early voters, or they vote by mail, or are they the day of? Like they'll give you a bunch of information on that, party affiliation, or leans this way or leans that way, that type of thing. There's an additional, and then you can also, beef up email addresses, get their cell phone numbers, like, that type of thing. So you can get that in type of information as well. L2 also has another layer of data that you can buy, and it's called Haystack DNA. This gets into very, very granular information on each of those people. Like, do they approve of this candidate? Do they oppose this candidate? What about this issue? Like they'll go through abortion, they'll go through like every issue you can think of, they'll go through. What is every political donation that they've given? What is every donation to any type of nonprofit that they've given? So if someone's giving to an environmental group, that is a different animal, right? And if they give to a conservation group, right? And so you can start to triangulate people to like find your people, like who are your people through that. And when I say that there's hundreds of fields of information, I genuinely mean that. Like it is extremely granular information, and you can break people down into subgroups of 200 or fewer, and then you can do extremely targeted micro messaging to them. So when you're talking to L2, it is not as expensive as you think. It really is not. You can get a lot of information. And then the Haystack data is an additional buy. It is a $500 minimum, no matter the number of people you do, but it can be higher than that. But I will tell you that information, chef's kiss.
I also, when you buy marketing lists, you're going to get like a Excel CSV or whatever. It's just like all dumped in there, and you get to sort and filter and whatever. We downloaded the walk lists, and it automatically, my mind was blown. It automatically had it split up evens and odds side of the street. Like, guys, it made door knocking so easy and so fun and so enjoyable. I just split those up by my people, and I was really impressed. So.
Well, ladies, we are coming to the end of our show, the end of Campaign Update episode 10. And I want to thank you both for coming out and being brave. Oh my gosh, I definitely reached out to every Libertarian candidate lady that I knew. And there were definitely some folks that were not wanting to be on the show today. any other day but today. So thank you for having the courage to come out and put your issues out there for people, putting your stance out there for folks to hear. And thank you for watching, folks back home. Thank you, Mike, for always being the honestly, Mike Scott is an amazing host, amazing candidate. And yeah, so he'll be back on next week. I'm thinking I may not be on next week because I'll be traveling. And we've got some more episodes coming up. If you are a candidate, please reach out, let me know, and let's get you scheduled on for a campaign update. Until then, see you next Tuesday.